But what I love most about our ships is that you will literally see the multi-gen family, grandparents with the parents and the grandkids, all of them enjoying that family vacation together.
Mm.
Now it's like you get onto the ship and it's like, what do we do first? You know, like there's so much to which one do
Right.
we do first, you know? So
Have you been dreaming of travel but not sure where to go or how to begin planning? Well, you found the right podcast.
Welcome to Theme Parks and Passports, the travel podcast for every family ready to explore the world, one destination at a time. I'm Melissa Sanchez, travel addict, wife, and mom of 2 big kids. Along with planning all my family adventures, I've been helping others realize their travel dreams through my company, Spellbound Vacations, since 2010.
And I'm Heidi Mackey, a travel enthusiast with a passion for geek and pulp culture. I'm also a wife and a mom of a spicy tween. Since 2017, I've been creating vacation memories for families through my business, House of Mackey Travel. Join us as we share stories, tips, and talk to those in the know to inspire your family's next great adventure.
Because creating family travel memories can happen in any stage of life.
Welcome to this episode of Theme Parks and Passports. I'm Heidi Mackey with House of Mackey Travel.
And I'm Melissa Sanchez with Spellbound Vacations. Today we're going to be chatting about family cruising on Royal Caribbean Cruise Lines. And joining us is Diego Velez, Strategic Account Manager with Royal Caribbean. Welcome, Diego. Thanks for joining us.
hello ladies, how are you? Thank you so much for having me.
We're good.
Great. I love Fridays. Diego, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your work with Royal Caribbean?
Yes. So I've been proudly representing Royal Caribbean now for 9 years. I actually came from the airline industry and the tour operator industry. So it's kind of nice to change over to the cruise side of things. So I guess I've covered air, land, and sea now, right? And I get the opportunity to work with travel advisors. And it's really a great thing that I do because I get to educate my travel partners on my brand, right? What is so different about my brand that makes people really want to cruise, right? Or why a travel advisor would want to recommend Royal Caribbean to their clients, right? So it's really
Right.
something that's unique and different that I love, and having the relationships that I have with my travel partners, and then helping them create vacation memories on Royal Caribbean is just fantastic.
And Diego is actually my strategic account manager. So we get together quite often to talk about, sales strategies, ships, cruising, all that kind of stuff. And we have actually known each other since his land days
That's
in
right.
Oh, wow.
2010. I think we've known each other for 15
Yeah.
years now.
Yes, that's
Really
right.
long time.
We look so young.
We do. We look fabulous. And we didn't actually get to start working together until about 4 years ago, officially, 4.5 years ago, officially working together. So, Diego, talk to us a little bit about why Royal Caribbean is a good choice for families when it comes to cruising.
So I definitely think it's the opportunity that we have on our ships. We have 28 different ships that go from small to very large, and then everything in between, right? That offers families that opportunity to do whatever they really want to do. You could do as much as the ship offers and have an incredible family vacation, or do as little as the ship offers, right? And still have a great family vacation. But the ambiance on our ship, and it really goes into the innovation of our ships. It goes into a lot of destinations that we're able to visit, as well as our unparalleled service aboard our ships. Within the mass market products of cruise ships, I really do think our team on board makes the difference with that personalized service, right? And then on our ships, and it really doesn't matter whether it's an earlier built ship or a newer ship. I think our entertainment really brings families together and allows them to enjoy. But what I love most about our ships is that you will literally see the multi-gen family, grandparents with the parents and the grandkids, all of them together at some point, actually enjoying that family vacation together.
Mm.
And you see them, whether it's just at dinner or whatever it is, you know, but then they also get that opportunity to do their own thing if they want to. The grandparents can go into the spa, the parents will go into the casino, the kids will go into their dedicated youth zone areas, and then again, they'll reconjoin for an excursion, or they'll get back onto the ship and enjoy some even pickleball nowadays, things like that. So it's really the opportunity for the multi-gen family product to be able to travel together, create memories together.
That actually is a perfect segue into the next question I have for you is, well, can you expand a little bit more on what are the kid clubs, teen clubs, and babysitting opportunities that you have and offerings that you have on the ships?
So, being the family product, obviously we do carry the most kids and teens out of any cruise line. So we do have our nursery. So to sail at Royal Caribbean, you do have to be 6 months of age or older, unless it's a sailing that has 3 or more consecutive sea days. Then in that case, you do have to be 12 months old or older. But our program, our nursery, from ages 6 months to 36 months, parents could drop off their child in our nursery. Then we kick into what's called our Adventure Ocean program. This is an award-winning kids program. I always tell my travel partners, this is not a daycare. This is not here, take my kid, like that's it. No, our counselors really make it an enrichment program. And that's what makes the difference at Royal Caribbean with our Adventure Ocean program. And that program typically goes from ages 3 to ages 11, right? 11, 12, depending on the ship. Specific programming is set up for the different ages. We have a science lab. We have, we'll do competitions with them. It's really great because all of our counselors, number one, they have to have a 4-year degree in education or recreation or something to the like. They have to already have had 3 to 5 years experience working with children early development. They do go through an 8-degree background check. As a parent, that was one of the most important things for me when I was dropping my son off at Adventure Ocean because I knew who I was
Great.
dropping him off with.
Yeah.
And again, they're going in between. Now, the great thing about the Adventure Ocean program for me as a parent, believe it or not, was the fact that it wasn't all day. There was actually breaks in between. So during the day, my son, I was able to drop him off. He enjoyed it, but then there would be moments where, hey, listen, let's go do the water slides. Let's go have lunch. Let's go. Okay, now time to you to go back so you could go enjoy your Gaga Bowl or whatever it is that you're playing today. And then we do have our dedicated teen spaces. Again, every ship will be different. On some of our newer ships and our amplified ships, amplified means rejuvenated or just refurbished. We've started to add open air spaces for our teens as well because we know that they want to be
Oh,
able
great.
to enjoy the ship, not necessarily by the pool with the family, or they know they can't go into the actual adult only area because it's 18 and over. So we've begun to also not just keep them enclosed, also give them their open air spaces to be able to enjoy.
Yeah, and I know Heidi's daughter has enjoyed these. My kids have enjoyed these, the teen clubs, the kids clubs that are offered on board. Let's dive into a little bit of what other types of activities. When I sailed last summer, we sailed on the Anthem of the Seas. And so there were bumper cars. I think there was rock climbing walls, like things like that on board. So, and I know some of the newer ships have an escape room that you can, sign up and do with your group. So, what other kind of extra things are there activity wise that the kids or the entire family can participate in?
Yeah, and I think that's where again you're going to go through from the earlier ships to the newer ships, the innovation that we've been able to bring to shipbuilding and all the marvels that we bring now, and we are the ones that bring like a lot of the firsts at sea, right? You
Hmm.
mentioned the rock wall, right? We were the first ones ever to bring that. A basketball court, we were the first ones to bring those kind of things, and by the way, the basketball court is not just for basketball, it's volleyball, pickleball. I mentioned earlier, it's become very popular, not just with the mature crowd, but also with young teens as well. Then you move over to, most people think, wait, I can surf while I'm on a ship? Yes, that's
That's right.
we have
Yeah.
we have FlowRider, which is a surfing simulator, which is a fantastic experience. Whether you actually can surf or if not, like me, where I fell my first time, I said, you know what? I'm going to go back to doing boogie boarding instead. You do the boogie boarding experience. Now, what's pretty cool, and we were talking about kind of going back to what makes a family. It's great when you see the family watching like the kid doing this or anybody within the family. They're doing it, they're having fun, they're all laughing because somebody, messed up or whatever, but it's fun. It's a family moment times. Um, Mini golfing, right? Opportunity to do those kind of things. You mentioned the bumper cars. That's on select class of ships that we have, and that's also important. Some of these activities are available on some ships and not on others, right? Because we want to make sure that the different classes of ships have offer something different. Within the class, they will predominantly have the same features. We've
Right.
introduced laser tag within our Studio B, which also happens to be our ice skating rink. So on some ships, we do have an ice skating opportunity for families to enjoy. We have the North Star, which is technically it's a Guinness World Book of Record because it's the highest navigable deck in the world because it does go 400 feet into the air and it gives people 360 views of ocean and destinations that they're at, like Alaska, being able to see glaciers from up top there, which is pretty cool. Zip lining, you can zip line across the boardwalk. You're looking down at the ship and seeing these kind of experience, the staterooms and everything. Arcades, to be able to have fun. Those, what you would pay for those, but at least you have the opportunity to have more of a fun experience with arcade. We just introduced, oh my God, I forgot. It's an icon of the seas, and I forgot the name of it. But it's this like I tell people that if you forget to pay your bar tab, you have to go walk the plank and you have to go walk on this thing and you have to zip off the ship. You're actually above the water on the ship, which is an incredible experience, rush, that you get. So
Amazing. Wow.
there's a
Yeah.
lot of different activities. And of course, on many of our Voyager class and up ships, we've added the water slides, to be able to
Mhm.
enjoy. And Icon of the Seas has the largest water park uh, of any class of ship in the world. And literally, as you're walking through this water park, you think you're on land. That's how big this water park is on a ship.
Yeah, it's
That-
when we again just kind of going back to our sailing last summer and we did the North Star. It was so cool. It was so fun. And you have a small group of people when you're in the North Star bubble. So it's not like you're crowded in there and you can't
Right.
see. It was so cool. I've done the zip lining. I want to say oh, correct me if I'm wrong. I want to say I did it on the Harmony. That
Mhm.
makes sense, right?
Right.
The Harmony of the Seas. We did the zip lining on that. So it's not just the kids too who are doing these kind of cool, innovative things that
100%.
are on the ships. Like the moms and the dads get involved. The grandparents can totally do a lot of these things. If you do want to ice skate though, make sure you have socks and long pants because we learned that a few sailings ago. I can't remember what ship it was we were on that the kids wanted to ice skate, but because it was a warm weather sailing, nobody had any socks. So there was no ice skating for anybody.
Oh,
But
wow. Okay. Look
yeah.
at that. But
Yeah,
you know what?
so something
To
to remember.
yeah, and to that point, that's where you see like I love going on our ships when I see the grandparents with the kids doing the water slides, the grandkids, right? Or you see the
Oh
Mhm.
yeah,
grandparents in the bumper
absolutely.
cars, and then the parents actually they're like, we want to do it too, so all three generations get together in the bumper cars. Like these are all the things that most people I think have a concept of cruising that it's an old style traditional cruising. You just go watch a show and have a couple meals during the day and just lay by the pool. I think at Royal Caribbean we have been able to offer a family, hey, this is a whole destination that you can do a lot. And I didn't even talk about the entertainment that we offer from Broadway productions that families can enjoy, right? To Royal Caribbean productions that we put together. One of my favorite things is to see that family watching an AquaTheater show on Oasis class ships. You have divers, you have aerialists, all these things going on and dancers and this aqua theater and you see the smiles on the kids, on the parents and the grandparents.
My sister and I actually just took our daughters on the Enchantment of the Sea, and my sister went on with the express purpose of doing the rock climbing wall for the first time. So, and to rock climb for the
Ooh,
first time. So that was
amazing.
on our list before we even got on. So that she had a great time doing it too. And the socks. We had to make sure she had socks. They gave her the shoes, but we made sure she had socks so that she could do it. And her daughter did it with her. So it was a really good bonding moment, I think.
Right. And on the earlier built ships, you're going to have less of these bells and whistles, right? But you still have some of these experiences, but you're going to still have those components of the shows, the dining. And then when you get up to a ship like an Icon, right, which is our newest class of ships, the Icon class, which Star is going to follow, Star of the Seas, and then now Legend of the Seas. Now it's like you get onto the ship and it's like, what do we do first? Like there's so much to do. Which one do
Right.
we do first?
I mean, we were on one of your older and slightly smaller ships, but the word board never came out of our 10-year-olds' mouths.
Excellent.
We did some more of the more traditional activities, but they were so into it. We did the trivias. We tried to hit as many trivias as we can, and we won
There you
two,
go.
not just one, but two. Man, they were the hardest trivias we've done on that. On like any cruise line, those were the hardest trivias we hit. But we had a great time name that tune. We got to see some amazing people doing karaoke. I mean, all those things, just because you have all the toots and whistles doesn't mean you lose any
Right.
of those traditional items that you're looking for too, where you can just sit back and be entertained either by professionals or just the other people that you're on the ship with. We really felt involved in everything, and I think that was something that made it really special for us too. And you were talking about the class of your staff on the cruise, and they knew us by name. I mean, we would show up not just because we kept showing up in the same place, but it felt very organic that they wanted to know who we were and they wanted to make sure that our trip was the most amazing they could make it. And so, yeah, it was great.
100%, 100%. And it's crazy to me how bingo sells out every time. It's like when I say sell out, it's like packed and there's no cost to it. But
Yeah.
it's packed. Karaoke, I would never show up to a karaoke because those are like professionals. I mean, these are guests
Yeah.
that are coming to. It's like we really call it like the royal, what's it, royal idol or whatever it's called. Like something like that. Because
Yeah.
it's like, oh my God, these people know how to sing. If I go in there, they're all leaving because. But you love seeing kids in there. Love seeing the different generations are going to be going to these different activities. And I think a lot of people find themselves going onto our ships. And like you said, maybe your sister wanted to do rock climbing before, she never got the opportunity, or you know what? It's there. Hey, I've never done that. Why not?
I do have to say, kamikaze karaoke is the scariest thing I've ever watched. So you pick the artist, but the people in the room pick the song.
Oh,
Oh,
So you may or may not know what you're singing.
wow.
that's
So that was
crazy.
fun too, is not doing just straight up karaoke that we can get at the local pub, but it was like it was scary and it was fun to watch. So I'm kind of glad that we didn't get on the list fast enough.
Well, trust me, you don't want me singing. Number one, and
Same.
Melissa
Same.
knows me for a long time, and like I said, she may have never seen that side of me. She may never see that side of me. But you just mentioned two things, if I may, that even like our pub,
Sure.
right? Our pub has a great artist in there playing fantastic
Mhm.
music, and you see, you tend to not see little ones in there, but you'll see the teenagers and above with their parents in there enjoying great music, and it's varied music, so they're all singing along and things like that. Or even probably, definitely, my favorite spot on the entire ship is Boleros, right? It's our Latin lounge,
Right.
and I love to see the Latin community in there, but I love to see other communities that are in there willing to dance, willing to learn, wanting to have fun. You see little kids trying to dance bachata and merengue and salsa. It's just a very family inviting
Mhm.
environment.
Yeah.
I think that actually brings me to something else that you were talking about before. There are so many ships with so many different offerings, but there are things that are consistent across your line, correct?
Correct.
So there are things that even if you're on a ship for the very first time, you don't know the ship yet, you're still going to find those almost like comfort places like a Boleros or a Schooners or things like that, right?
Correct. A staple in all of our ships is going to be the schooner bar, right? And that's where we have like the piano, the trivia nights, great pre-dinner, post-dinner spot to have a great drink with family and just talk and things like that. Yes, you'll also see certain restaurants that are included, or some of the specialty ones that are just because they've become fan favorite by our guests, they will remain on our all our fleet, right? But we also do understand, and I think, if I may, this is one of the most important things that why we do ask our guests to fill out the survey, because we want to understand. Okay, it's great to know that we're doing great, but we also need to know if we're not, right, and why we're not, and what is it about it, right? Because then, if there is a restaurant that is not performing well for us, is it time to change it? Right. Does that mean that whether it's on an amplification process that we're doing, like for instance, the Allure of the Seas right now is going through an amplification process, which means again we're rejuvenating it. There's gonna be restaurants that are gonna be taken away from there. That now we're gonna bring some of the other restaurants that have been doing better on other ships and bring that concept to that ship, right? Or location of restaurants sometimes too, or venues, I should say, in general. So that's why it's always so important that we need to know, we strive for continuous improvement at Royal Caribbean. I think that's one of the things that I do also. I'm very proud of working for Royal Caribbean because we're always looking for that. How can we improve to make sure that we do give a royal experience?
Absolutely. And so, just to kind of move off the ships for a moment, Royal Caribbean has their own private island. So,
Yes.
select itineraries will stop at this pirate island. It could be a pirate
It
island,
could
but I think
be.
it's a private
Let's
island. It
hope
could have been a
not.
private island. It's a little more fun than
Somewhere in
private
its
island, right?
These are actors.
So
These are actors, though. The pirates are actors.
not real people. So Perfect Day at CocoCay, which is located in the Bahamas. I know this, I've been there multiple times. It is a fantastic port of call if you have not been there. From activities from literally just relaxing on the beach, snorkeling, which is one of my favorites to do. And then you have the water park, which has the tallest water slide in North America, if
Mhm.
I am correct, which my husband has actually experienced. I personally did not, but he did and he loved it. So
Next
can
time.
you briefly give us some details about that port?
Yes, and truthfully, not because I work for the brand, but more because I got to experience the island before we also amplified it, right? I mean, CocoCay was just a beautiful island in the Bahamas where you would go, and well, hopefully you would go because we didn't have a pier, and you would have to tender off the ship, and if the waters were too rocky, you wouldn't even make that port of call, which is also very
Yeah,
important
we
to.
did that one time. Yeah.
Yeah, and you would get there again, pristine beaches, beautiful waters, some inflatable water park experience, and that was it. But it was a great day. Well, we changed everything a couple of years ago. Now she's actually now Perfect Day at Coco Cay is now 5 years old, right? And we do have
Wow.
a pier, which is great because it increases the probability of us docking because there could still be that possibility that we don't dock because of weather, which is very important. When you get onto the island, first and foremost, like you said, there's a lot of complimentary experiences from beach. We have the largest freshwater pool in the Caribbean, 80,000 gallons, called Oasis Lagoon, available for all families to be able to enjoy. We have complimentary dining venues throughout the island where if you want like a buffet style experience, we have a chill grill and a skipper's grill to be able to enjoy. We do have our snack shacks, which I highly recommend everybody to go visit and get the secret sandwich there. I'm not going to divulge what the secret sandwich is because then it's not secret anymore and you need to go and experience it, right? So we have those throughout. Um, it's also like different areas of the island, right? You have Chill Island, which is great just to really relax, like not really loud music, great umbrellas and chairs for everybody to enjoy. Great part for to snorkel. If you wanted more of a higher end luxury experience, we have Cocoa Beach Club. There is an additional fee to enter the Cocoa Beach Club, but it's more quieter. 500 passengers max to go in there. Elevated lunch. They're talking about lobster and filet mignon for lunch and things like that. We have South Beach, which is going to be more of an active area of the island. Sports, basketball court, pickleball court, volleyball. You have the floating bar at sea as well, bars as well. You have the Harbor Beach, and right next to it, we actually have two complimentary water park experiences for little ones to be able to enjoy.
Oh,
And
wow.
then next to that, we do have the full water park, Thrill Water Park, like Melissa was mentioned. That you have Splash Summit, you have the largest wave pool in the Caribbean. Like you mentioned, you have Daredevil's Tower with about 7 different water slides there as well. So there's a lot to do within it. That there is an additional entrance fee to enter that particular part of the water park, and there's dining in there that's included and things like that. And then recently, we just opened up what's called, actually not recent, about a year ago now. It's called Hideaway Beach, and this is our adult only area, and it's 18 and over, right? And it is more of an active. I like to tell consumers that it's more of a Las Vegas beach party experience, right? Live DJ, louder music, a lot more going on. Beautiful beach, incredible infinity pool to be able to enjoy. But people are really there to have a lot of fun. It's not a quiet area, so because I think people hear adult and they think, oh, it's going to be quieter. No, that's going to be a lot more loud, active, energy wise. If you wanted like adult and quiet, but families can go in, that would be Cocoa Beach. Or like I said, if you want a complimentary experience, I would go to Chill Island. But the complimentary energy vibe would be South Beach. The one that you would pay extra for, again, 18 and over, then would be Hideaway Beach. But you could totally enjoy that island without having to add any of the add-ons, right? And have a great day. And then two things that I always want to make sure that our guests know that want to sail Royal Caribbean or have sailed, and maybe they didn't know, if they do purchase the internet package on the ship or any of our beverage packages that we have on our ships, they do translate to the island as well.
That's awesome.
That's a great note.
Yeah. And I think, it's worth mentioning with that Hideaway Beach. My kids are big now, right? We've been sailing with them since they were younger. And so they've done the kids club. But once they hit 18, sometimes I feel like families are like, oh, what are our kids going to do? They're not quite 21 yet. So that kind of kills, the club vibe on board. But once they hit 18, things like the Hideaway Beach are a perfect place for that kind of 18 to 20-year-old age too, to go with their families, go with their parents when you're traveling with the older kids, because it gives them an opportunity to have a place where, they can enjoy themselves too without maybe hanging out with the 15, 16-year-olds, you know what I mean? And still have that family time that the moms and dads might be looking for. So I think there's great opportunities there, both at Perfect Day and on the ship, because when we've traveled with, again, our older kids, once you age out of that teen club, there's this weird middle ground, especially when you're sailing from a US port. When you're sailing from a European port, it's slightly different, which we've done a couple times since our kids have turned 18, because they can go into some of those adult only areas or order a glass of wine during trivia that they might not be able to do sailing from a US port. So it's a good to know that there are these areas that sort of middle range age group can still experience and enjoy and have those sort of special opportunities once they've aged out of that teen club, but are too young for the truly like adult options.
And I think that's where you do see, and it is. I think I know for us it's a tricky age bracket, right?
Yeah.
At 18 to 20, right? But the great thing again when you include so much entertainment, so many game shows, comedy shows, not to promote gambling, but obviously a casino would, some people do.
My daughter loves the casino.
Some parents are okay with allowing their kids to go into the casino. The just relaxation part of it. You see, 18-year-olds actually enjoying just relaxing in our solarium, which is also our adult area on our ships, because maybe they're the kind of teenager that doesn't want to do the partying. They just want to really enjoy their vacation. And I think that goes back to what I said. When you get onto a cruise ship, you could do everything the ship offers and have an amazing time, or you could really just sit back and relax, do none of it, and still have a great opportunity to enjoy this vacation with, great service, the food, whatever it is. And I think for the 18 to 20, while it's a weird bracket, there's still a lot for them to do in that respect.
I agree 100,000,000%. We have found with both our kids that, again, like Heidi said with the girls when she was just cruising last week, there was no "I'm bored, there's nothing for me to do, what are we doing next" kind of thing. Oh, there was that question because I tend to be the itinerary planner, which is no surprise to anyone who knows me. But so yeah, I really definitely think that cruising in general in Royal Caribbean, which we've done, like I said, multiple times with our kids as they got older, it's perfect. There's literally something for everybody. Diego, I want to ask you, what is your favorite itinerary that you have sailed with your son or your mom? Because I know you sail with your mom too. Like, have you, the three of you done one that all of you really love?
Would say, well, my most recent itinerary with my son was actually out of Italy, Ravenna. And we went to
Mm,
the Greek Isles with Croatia, and we
very
enjoyed
nice.
that because he really wanted to, like he really wanted to go to Greece, right? And we
Hmm.
got an opportunity to really give him a taste. And that's what you do with cruising, I think, which is very important to note, is that when you are cruising, it's not to really delve into the culture of the destination, like 100%, you go to get a little taste of it, whether it's the food, the traditions, whatever it is, and you could do tours or excursions or on your own and experience that. But it's really more to get a taste. And it was great to see him enjoy. For whatever reason, he loves Greek mythology, and I love that. I wanted to really show him Plaka in Athens, but he was really dead set on wanting to go see Zeus's temple somewhere like an hour and a half outside of Athens.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was an excursion, which was great because everything was taken care of for us. For me, I was like, I would have loved for him to see Plaka in downtown Athens and all that. But we got to see Olympia Stadium and the Acropolis. But when he was at Zeus, like that was his thing, and he enjoyed that
Yeah.
really. And the lunch that we had, the Mediterranean Greek lunch, was phenomenal. So I loved seeing him trying new foods on that experience. We're on the Explorer of the Seas, which is it's not a smaller ship, but it tends to be on like the medium size. I would say more medium size. It's about
Yeah.
3,800 passengers. What I loved about that particular itinerary was he now has friends from Australia, it,
Hmm.
Italy, France. I
Hmm.
believe one of them was from Ghana, because on those European
Wow.
sailings, you do get from all over the world. And I
Yes.
love the fact that he to this day is still texting, and he was playing basketball with them and all that on the courts, and he's texting with them, and he has a friend from Texas, one from Carolina, they all met together on that ship, and they got to play basketball. So funny enough, I think that's what I loved more, is just his engagement in not only the destination. He enjoyed the ship because it wasn't as big, but he mainly played basketball with these friends. I would say the other one though was when we got to experience Wonder of the Seas, and that was definitely more for, I think, me, because I always wanted to go to Roatan, right? I've heard so many wonderful things about Roatan, and we got to enjoy a beautiful beach stay there, and the waters there are just incredible. We didn't do any scuba diving
Wow.
or snorkeling because the waters were a little rough, but it was still incredible, beautiful. The food was fantastic. It was a great beach day, but in Costa Maya, we got to do Costa Maya and Cozumel. This time we went off Cozumel. We went to the mainland because we wanted to go to Tulum and see the ruins, and then we got to go experience cenotes
Yeah.
in both
Hmm.
Tulum and then down in Costa Maya. And those experiences for both of us were pretty unique and different, and it was just great to be able to experience. So I do love our Western Caribbean itinerary. I think that's an itinerary that definitely most families should do. It includes a lot more of swimming, beach days, and things like that they just want to enjoy. Where when you look at European itinerary, I mean, we were definitely, moving around a lot more, doing tours, excursions, because you want to kind of get to see different things.
Funny story. Speaking of meeting people from other parts of the world when you're cruising, when we cruised this past summer, we sailed from Southampton, England, and my kids met lots of other kids on board. Fast forward a few months, and Olivia is dating, my daughter is dating a boy who actually lives in Northern Ireland. Come to find out, one of the kids she met on board, he knows.
Oh no.
No
And
way.
Oh
so
wow.
talk
Okay.
about a small
What a
and
small
like the
world.
parents knew the parents. It was like this whole big like full circle moment of them knowing the same people that they cruise with. And Diego, you actually your Mediterranean cruise, I don't know if you remember this, the boy my daughter's dating, his parents were on that same ship as you were
Oh,
on.
that's right. Yes, yes, that's right. You did tell me
So
that. Yeah.
talk about like
Yeah.
small world. meeting different people, and the kids do have friends from other countries now. Olivia has a friend that's from Egypt, and a bunch of different places, and obviously the Northern Ireland connection. So those European sailings tend to be more port intensive, which is what I love about them. I love be getting
Yeah.
those sampling of all those ports. But in general, yeah, that it's just such a great and different experience. I feel like sailing those European sailings than sailing the Caribbean sailings. I mean, they're just completely different. I love them both, but they're definitely different. Um,
But if I may, real quick on that, and I know it's more Royal Caribbean about families, but I really think Royal Caribbean about cruising in general, right? Because
yeah.
one of the main things
Yeah.
that Royal Caribbean is trying to do right now, my brand is really trying to get more new to cruise, right? We want families, adults, mature clientele to try out cruising in general, right? Because if there's one thing that I love about cruising is that everybody on boarding day has the same mentality. We're all boarding the same ship, we're all going to the same destination, and it just makes it open for open dialogue. And people are, whether you're at some excursions or at the bar or, at the pool, you start mingling and talking to people, making
Mhm.
friends, and you start learning about each other. And then before you know, hey, what are you guys doing tonight for dinner? Right? We're gonna be down at the club tonight, or and it just becomes this camaraderie between guests on our ships that people enjoy, and then they build long life,
Yeah.
friendships. That
Yeah.
next time, hey, Melissa, can you book me on this cruise because my friends are booking, for that, and it's incredible. So I that's one of the things I've learned about cruising, because prior to Royal Caribbean, I was not an avid cruiser, but I've learned that, and I love that because I've gone to other types of vacations where uh, if I were to travel by myself, I'm not the kind of person really that, makes a lot of friends, right? Like quickly, but on a cruise ship, if I travel myself, it allows me to really
Yeah.
start making friends with people. And it's really a great experience.
It kind of fosters that in a way. I mean, if you don't want to be that person to talk to other people, like you can talk to them once and you can walk away. You don't have to walk away with lifelong
Right.
relationships. I don't want that to
Yes.
scare anybody away from cruising. But if that's what you want, if you're open to it, I'm actually having brunch with the family we met on our very first cruise 6 years ago at the end of the
Oh,
month.
Oh,
wow. Look
that's
at that.
fun.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. That's
yeah, we live close enough to each other because we left from some of the local ports too are nice. If you go towards, like, we're in the Northeast, if you're leaving out of the New York metro area, there's a chance that you'll meet people who are nearby,
100%.
and you'll keep those connections, and they'll become part of your life if you want them.
They're
If
part
you
of
want them there.
your cruise family.
Your cruise crew, yes,
Yeah.
exactly. It'd be great. Diego, actually, can you tell us a little bit about what's in store for Royal Caribbean?
Yes. So this year in 2025, we're bringing our second Icon class ship, which is Star of the Seas. She debuts in August of this year. She will be out of Port Canaveral. So currently, Icon of the Seas is in Miami. She's doing her 7 night sailing experience. Star will do the same thing out of Port Canaveral. Next year, we are introducing Legend of the Seas, which will be the third installment of the Icon class. And incredibly enough, we're going to be debuting from Barcelona. So she's going to actually start in the Mediterranean next summer and then make her way over to the US, I believe Fort Lauderdale. Yes, Fort Lauderdale. She'll be sailing from Fort Lauderdale, offering 7 night experiences there. Then in 2027, we'll have the fourth Icon class debut. We don't know the name of that one yet. And then in 2028, the seventh Oasis class ship
Wow.
that will be joining that
Wow.
class of ships. So that's ship wise. But recently, Royal Caribbean's also into building destinations. And what I mean by that, well, we kind of built up Perfect Day CocoCay, right, into this incredible experience. So this year, we're going to be debuting what's called the Royal Beach Club at Paradise Island. So for any family that has cruised before, has gone to Nassau, and either they're tired of it or they don't know what else they could do, we are building alongside where the ship's dock to the left hand side. There's like a peninsula. We're building that up to offer a chill, thrill, and family experience. It's going to be a short excursion type experience where families will be able to have a great beach day in Nassau. So that's coming. Then next year, we will be bringing in what's called the Cozumel Beach Club, right? So as we purchased two properties there, then we're going to amplify as well, and we're going to introduce that. And I think it's also important because sometimes families, especially for the first time traveler, they don't know where to go, what to do. Oh, well, this is Royal Caribbean's you know, um, secured area, then we want to do this short excursion and have a great beach day in Cozumel. So we'll be offering that. And then in 21, we're 25, 20, so wait, Paradise Island is 25, 26 is Cozumel, and 20,
You guys have so much going
yes, I'm
on.
trying to, 2027. So we're going to take what we've done in CocoCay, the whole perfect day experience, and bring that to Costa Maya, Mexico. So we are
Awesome.
looking very forward to a lot of great things coming at Royal Caribbean.
Sounds amazing, and great offerings that are encompassed within the trip without having the pressure of finding something else outside.
Correct, correct. And I mean, it's always great to get off the ship and be able to again get a taste of the destination, whatever you might want to do. But sometimes you wonder, no, do I do the excursions through the cruise line? Do I go on my own? What's good, what's not? When you have already this royal experience that has been proven to be incredible, like a perfect day, and we're sort of doing that with Royal Beach Club, and then eventually with Perfect Day Mexico. It's going to give comfort to the royal guest. They're going to be thrilled to have these experiences already other places, but for a new guest, they'll at least have some security knowing that okay, this is already cured and everything by Royal Caribbean, so I know that I'll have this wonderful experience.
Awesome. So, Heidi, I know you have a couple more cruises coming up with Royal Caribbean.
Yes, I actually, at the end of the year, I'm going to be going on the Utopia of the Seas, which is the full weekend where we go to. I'm super excited because I think I have to look at the timing, or I'm waiting to hear on the timing. I believe that your beach club is going to be open in time.
Okay.
We're going to be going in December. So it's like we're right on
Well,
the
we'll hope
cusp on
yes.
whether or not that beach club's going to be
Yeah.
open. And then do Perfect Day. And then I'm also the one I'm most excited about is that we're going to be on the inaugural for the Star of the Seas. So I'm like super excited. The 4 day preview, the first 4 day preview, we're going to be on that
Oh,
one. So I'm like super excited about that. I can't wait.
we're actually she's being delivered early.
Oh, wow.
There we introduced two 4 night sailings to kind of get a good preview. So if anybody wants to try out the Icon class and they haven't wanted to because they think it's too big, for 7 nights, at least now they can, try it out for 4 nights. But those will be the only two 4 nights that Icon class will do because then it'll go, or Star will do, because then she'll go into her 7 night. But it's more because she's coming in early.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And it's a good itinerary too. So,
Mm.
if you can get onto one of those two, I think it would be amazing. We get a couple days to really enjoy the ship.
Yep.
So I'm looking forward to that so I can learn as much as I
There
can.
you go.
But Melissa, you were talking about booking soon too, right?
We actually just booked. It's a 5 night Western Caribbean on the Explorer of the Seas. We have not sailed on that ship yet, so we're really excited. That's January 2026. So really looking forward to it. It's Cozumel and Porto Costa Maya. So we're looking forward to those are two ports I haven't done before. So we're definitely excited. I'm not quite sure, we haven't looked at excursions or anything like that yet. We literally just booked this week. So we'll get through, a couple vacations we have plans over the next few months and then start concentrating on January. Diego, where are you sailing next? What's your next?
I have a couple of work trips, nothing planned in terms of my personal, because I do try to, believe it or not, again, I've been trying to do more sailings. I do it both for because I do enjoy number one, my brand. I do enjoy cruising now more than I've ever done, and I always kind of learn something new every time I sail, even because it's a little
Mhm.
different when you sail for work than when you sail
Oh,
as a guest,
definitely.
of course.
Yes.
So nothing really in the plans for that. I'm actually doing some land trips, but no, definitely looking forward to. I think we're finding out, waiting for our invitation as employees to the Star of the Seas. So it'll be cool to get to experience that. And I know our sales meeting later in the year is on the Wonder of the Seas.
Fun.
Yeah.
Awesome. That'll be great.
Nice.
Uh-huh.
Very nice. It sounds like so much fun. Diego, I wanted to thank you so much for joining us today and sharing this amazing information with us
Thank you.
and everybody who's listening. At the end of each episode, we do a segment we call Would You Rather. This week's Would You Rather, I'm going to pick poolside bar or piano bar. Diego, you get to go first.
I get to choose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which would you rather do?
Listen, it's been a cold winter here in New Jersey. Get
Fair enough.
me outside. Let me enjoy that poolside bar.
Yeah, I think that's what I would go for at this point too, because even today we had some really beautiful days over the last week, and today is back to being chilly. So if I could be sitting by a poolside bar where it was nice and warm and sunny, definitely my choice. Give me a pina colada any day of the week.
Yes, yes, yes.
Amazing.
How about you, Heidi?
I would actually go piano bar.
Yeah.
For the chill factor, I think. I mean, you could totally chill by the pool, but I feel like you got to think about sunscreen and all that fun stuff, and I don't feel like thinking about that quite yet. I just want to sit back with my drink and belt out a song that nobody can hear, except for everybody who's sitting around me.
Sounds perfect.
Yes. But ask me in 4 months, and I'd probably give you a different answer.
Well, you know what? I'll enjoy that at nighttime with an espresso martini. That's kind of nice there.
Mm.
Or because we do.
The lavender daiquiri and schooners.
Oh, I don't know that one.
Oh, I got you. If we go on the Star of the Seas together, I got
Yeah,
you.
that's a good one. A good my normal drink is a good tequila club soda as well to enjoy there. So listen, I love schooners to, like you said, just kind of unwind and enjoy some great piano. But again, I think that would you rather? Yes, I'd rather the poolside, but then at nighttime I'm gonna be at the piano bar just to you know.
A good mix.
You can
Good
still
mix.
go to both.
Exactly.
We just want to know which way, if you had to choose this second, which would you make the left or the right?
Yeah, no, definitely pool bar. Definitely gets me to that pool bar.
Perfect. Well, thank you again, Diego, for joining us. And thank you to everyone for listening.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to hit subscribe on Spotify or your favorite podcast player. And while you're there, feel free to leave us a rating and review.
Check out the show notes for links to Spellbound Vacations LLC and House of Mackie Travel. Until next time, keep living your best travel life.